What if I told you that some of the most nurturing women in the world will never hold their own child? What if the women society labels as selfish are actually making the most selfless choice of their lives? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind why some women choose to remain child-free, and the reasons might surprise you more than you think. The conversation around childless women often gets painted with the wrong brush. Society whispers about biological clocks and maternal instincts, but rarely stops to understand the profound emotional intelligence behind these decisions. These aren't women who simply don't like kids or are too career-focused. These are women who understand something most people never want to face, that love alone isn't always enough. So let's break down the real psychological reasons why some women make this choice, because understanding them might just change how you see motherhood forever. Number 1, cognitive empathy, feeling for a life that doesn't exist yet. In psychology, cognitive empathy is the ability to understand and feel what another person experiences, even when that person doesn't exist yet. Women who choose not to have children often possess this trait in abundance. They can feel the weight of what it means to bring a consciousness into this world. These women remember their own childhoods with startling clarity. They remember the confusion, the questions that never got answered, the nights spent wondering why adults seem so angry all the time. They recall being told they were too sensitive while simultaneously being expected to carry everyone else's emotional baggage. When they think about having children, they don't just see cute baby clothes and first steps. They see themselves at 7 years old, trying to understand why mommy cries behind closed doors. They see themselves at 12 learning to read the room before speaking. They see wide eyes filled with questions that deserve better answers than "because I said so." This isn't fear. It's profound awareness. They understand that children are not blank slates waiting to be written on. Children are feeling beings who absorb everything, who carry the energy of their homes in their small bodies long into adulthood. Number 2, the Parentification Survivors. Many women who choose to remain child-free spent their childhoods being little adults. They were the ones making sure younger siblings got fed while mom worked 3 jobs. They mediated their parents' fights and learned to suppress their own needs to keep the peace. These women already know what it feels like to be responsible for another person's well-being. They've already experienced the exhaustion of putting someone else's needs before their own, day after day, year after year. The difference is, they did it as children themselves. When people ask them why they don't want kids, they can't easily explain that they've already raised children. They just happened to be children themselves at the time. They learned early that being needed and being loved aren't the same thing. The thought of voluntarily taking on that level of responsibility again, when they've barely learned how to take care of themselves, feels overwhelming rather than fulfilling. Number 3, the Perfectionism Trap. Some women don't have children because they understand themselves too well. They know their limitations, their triggers, their unhealed places, and they refuse to let a child pay the price for their human imperfections. These are often the women who therapy has taught to recognize their patterns. They know they struggle with anxiety, depression, or anger management. They've seen how their own childhood trauma shows up in their adult relationships. They're honest about their capacity. While society tells us that no parent is perfect, these women take that responsibility seriously. They know that children don't choose to be born, and if they're going to bring someone into existence, they want to do it right. Since they don't feel they can guarantee that, they choose not to risk it. This isn't self-hatred. It's self-awareness at its most brutal and honest level. Number 4, the genetic weight carriers. Mental illness, addiction, and trauma often run in families like unwelcome heirlooms passed down through generations. Some women look at their family trees and see patterns they refuse to continue. They've watched depression claim multiple relatives. They've seen how addiction destroyed their grandparents, parents, and siblings. They carry genetic predispositions they never asked for, and they're acutely aware of the odds. These women often make their choice from a place of love. Love for a hypothetical child who deserves better odds than they can offer. They know that healing doesn't always skip generations, and some wounds are too deep to trust. They won't accidentally reopen. Breaking generational cycles sometimes means ending them completely. Number 5, the authentic life seekers. Society has convinced us that motherhood is every woman's natural desire, but some women have done the hard work of separating what they actually want from what they're told they should want. These women have sat with themselves in quiet moments, and realize that when they imagine their ideal life, children aren't part of the picture. Not because they dislike children, but because they have other dreams, other purposes, other ways they want to contribute to the world. They've learned to trust their inner voice over external expectations. They understand that wanting something different doesn't make them defective, it makes them authentic. Number 6, the identity protectors. Some women have fought too hard to find themselves to risk losing who they are in motherhood. These are women who spent years figuring out their own identity, often after being told who they should be their entire lives. They've worked through therapy, self-discovery, and personal growth to finally understand their own needs, boundaries, and desires. They know how easily they can disappear into taking care of others because they've done it before. The thought of motherhood feels like a threat to the self they've worked so hard to build and protect. They've seen how women can lose themselves completely in the role of mom, and they're not willing to risk the identity they've fought to create. This isn't vanity, it's survival. They know that if they lose themselves, they can't authentically love anyone else. Number 7, the freedom guardians. There's a type of woman who has fought hard for her independence and isn't willing to give it up. She's carved out a life that fits her perfectly. Her career, her hobbies, her relationships, her peace. She's not being selfish, she's being honest about what fulfills her. She knows that children change everything, and she's not willing to sacrifice the life she's built for a role that doesn't call to her. These women often face the most judgment because their choice seems to threaten others who made different decisions. But choosing your own path, even when it's unconventional, takes incredible courage. Number 8, the Love Redefiners. Perhaps most importantly, many child-free women have learned that there are countless ways to love and nurture in this world. They pour their maternal energy into teaching, mentoring, caring for aging parents, supporting friends through difficult times, or working with children professionally. They understand that biology doesn't determine your capacity to love or your value as a woman. They've redefined what it means to leave a legacy and found ways to make the world better that don't require creating new life. Their love is no less real because it doesn't result in children who share their DNA. The truth is, every woman who chooses not to have children has her own deeply personal reasons. What connects them is often a level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence that allows them to make decisions based on reality rather than expectation. These women aren't broken, cold, or missing some essential feminine quality. They're making conscious choices about their lives and their capacity. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is admit what you cannot give. Society may not understand their choice, but understanding isn't required for respect. These women are writing their own stories, defining their own purpose, and refusing to apologize for knowing themselves well enough to live authentically. Whether you're a woman considering this choice, someone who's already made it, or someone trying to understand the women in your life who've chosen this path, remember this: there is no wrong way to be a woman, and there is no single path to a meaningful life. The conversation about childless women needs to change. Instead of asking why they don't want children, maybe we should be asking what they do want, and celebrating the courage it takes to choose differently. So what do you think? Do any of these reasons resonate with you or someone you know? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video helped you understand something new about yourself or someone in your life, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that dives deep into the psychology behind our biggest life decisions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.